3 things men secretly want in a woman. In this video, you will discover what a man is really truly looking for that you wouldn't even think about. So you can actually decide if you want to meet that or not. But at least you know what to look for and how to have a man be truly attracted to you. Now, of course, if you want to discover how to be the most attractive woman to magnetize your man, then hop into the comment section and say, I am ready. I am Antia, founder and creator of the Magnetize Your Man method. And look, this is the channel where we magnetize your man so that the man you want continues to pursue you and desire you. Now, of course, if you like my background, anything else I have to share, anything I wear, do me a favor and give it a like, give it a thumbs up. And of course, also don't forget to subscribe so you get notified for more juicy videos coming your way. And also don't forget, sharing is caring. So don't forget to let a girlfriend or two know about it. Now, lastly, listen all the way through the end so you get notified for a surprising bonus secret that you may have not thought about. So let's go ahead and into the right 3 things that men look for in a woman. Number 3 is a queen. So what is a queen? So we have all heard this expression, I'm sure. And in our world, I mean my husband's and my world, the queen is the perfect balance between what we call the doormat and the archetype, and the doormat and the bitch. Okay, yes, and those are archetypes. So what we want to look at is, of course, the bitch is a distorted archetype, and so is the doormat, right? And so distorted, I mean, there's like good aspects in them, but they've gone kind of like too far, too overboard. So the queen brings them all back together. So let me break that down for you. So the bitch, right, is of course that part inside of you that has no problem setting boundaries. As a matter of fact, the bitch is more on the cold side, right? She doesn't really care what other people think. She can come off as aloof and of course closed off. Now, oftentimes men respect the bitch, but they don't necessarily like her because they are more intimidated by her, which that of course is not necessarily great for creating attraction and tension and polarity, right? However, it is necessary. So what we want to do is balance that with the archetype of the doormat. So remember, the doormat itself is a distorted version of usually the lover. And so the doormat, right, is really that part that's actually warm, that's loving, that's giving, right, that's merging. There's like literally no boundaries at all. But she's very compassionate, right? She's very other focused, as opposed to the bitch is very self-focused. Okay, so now of course, like what happens with the doormat is she's being very liked because she's doing a lot of things for other people. However, she's not being respected. So what oftentimes happens with the doormat is that men like her, but then they drop off the earth. Or men like her, but they take her for granted, right? She doesn't really get the attention that she really deserves. Like she doesn't really get the consistency of messages and dates that she truly deserves. So what a man really wants is a queen, which is the perfect balance between the two. The queen is really saying, don't mistake my kindness for weakness, right? So she's sort of like the steel inside, but she has sort of like that satin glove on the outside. She's well-spoken. She's connected to her heart. She's compassionate. She's not harsh, but she is firm, right? So that's what a man is truly looking for, right? So she'll actually say after the first date, you know what, can I be honest with you? I appreciated this piece or that piece, and I'm sure you did this for a reason, but I did not appreciate this piece, or this is what I really need, right? So the queen has no problems expressing what she really desires. Number 2 is a man wants a cheerleader. A man wants to feel supported. A man wants to feel like appreciated. right? So when he brings home sort of like, metaphorically speaking, that deer from the hunt, right? He wants to actually be celebrated, right? He wants to be like, oh my goodness, you're the best. You're amazing. Wow, this must have taken you like quite a bit of strength and power and all those things, right? So that actually raises like a man's confidence as well, that he can make you happy, right? So he wants to be, he wants to have a cheerleader also in tough times. I remember a time when I was starting to date my husband, and I actually saw, wow, he's working really hard, but he's not having the systems in place that he would really need, right? So I was continuing to be the cheerleader. I was like, I saw so much in him, so much potential, and so many gifts, so much talent, right? So you're constantly seeing like the best inside of your man. You're almost like bringing that out, and you're helping him to magnify that even more. Needless to say, of course, he developed those systems, and he felt even more like a man, right? Like, who can provide, a man who can make me happy, but also a man who can be fully on purpose. Number one is a unicorn. He's looking for a unicorn. So what I mean by that is he wants somebody who has a unique self-expression, right? He doesn't want to have a cookie cutter. He doesn't want you to be like your neighbor or like your classmate that you were always jealous of, right? He doesn't want you to fit in. He wants you to be yourself, right? So for example, when I met my husband, Brody, right, like I actually was sort of like the goofball par excellence. I was doing like, the chicken dance and the fish dance, and I came up with all those like funny dances. And sometimes I would walk into his office and just jump up and down, be like, yippee! And then I would just walk straight back into my office and continue to work, right? And some other people may think, well, that's totally nuts. But you know what? Like, that's actually who I truly am. So I had to really do what's in alignment, right? So how I am in alignment. So and the funny part is, what we really hear from men is that even if they didn't like that before, when a woman is like too goofy or silly or like child, like that has a like inner child that's like being super uber playful, ridiculous, like, right? Even if they didn't like that before, that they will like that in you, as long as it's really in your alignment, right? So for me, it was an alignment, right? Because when I was a child, I was actually dancing and singing through the house and skipping and all the things, right? And my mom would always say, oh, Antia, seriously, right? So I learned to suppress it, but that was actually going against my alignment and who I really am. So a man is really looking for your aligned, unique self-expression, because that's highly magnetic. And that's what actually activates also that part inside of himself, right? That asks himself, what's unique about me, or what's moving inside of me, or what am I passionate about? So in other words, you are creating a state change inside of the man. Now, before I share my bonus secret, I would love to hear from you. What do you secretly want in a man? So let's flip the coin. Okay. And lastly, what a man secretly wants in a woman is a friend. Okay. And a friend really meaning someone that he can tell his deepest, darkest secrets to, right? Somebody who loves him unconditionally without any agenda. So to give you an example, so when I was starting to date my husband, Brody, I should have like do like a video it's called. So when I started dating my husband, Brody, I did a lot of things, ladies, like the 9 years of happiness that my husband and I share together. It did not come by accident, right? So that came actually through building trust and for building a foundation of friendship as well. So one day, when I was really annoyed again at him leaving the dishes in the sink, something like that, something silly, right? Like I was actually thinking, you know what? Like I'm just gonna go a different route. I'm just gonna manipulate him. I'm just gonna guilt trip him, right? But then I was like, wait a minute. But I always say like what you think, what you say, and what you do has to be in alignment. So I was like, oh, wait a minute. So does that mean because I thought that I want to manipulate him and I want to guilt trip him that I now need to tell him That's right, because only then can you only trust yourself and, of course, can build that trust towards the man. So, what did I do? That's exactly what I did. I told him, hey, babe, so, so I just wanted to tell you something. So, my ego just wanted to manipulate you. And you can imagine the internal dialogue that I had to overcome to say that, because my internal dialogue was saying, are you nuts? Have you lost your mind? You're giving all your power away. He knows now all your secret weapons. However, the opposite happened. He answered with a lot of curiosity and said, really, how did this part want to do that? And so from this point forward, right, we had this insider joke that, like, okay, well, how does that ego part want to manipulate you today? Or what does this ego part want today? Right? And we really created this deep, transparent, and authentic relationship that was based on this deep, deep friendship and building trust as well. Now, if you want to discover a 30-second trick on how to make any man desire you, then click that link, triggerhisdesire.com, or click that link in the description below as well. If you haven't watched so already, when a man deeply loves you, he will start saying these 5 things. Lots of love to you, ladies, and I will talk to you in the next video. Bye-bye.